Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome to the reaction of Barcelona against Celta Vigo. Now I'm sorry first of all guys, I didn't quite have time to do a preview for this, but I'm here for the review and it is a match that is worth reviewing because going into this game, I was on Twitter before the game and I did specifically say actually, it's all about results. At this stage of the season, there's not many games to go now. If we win all our games, we are champions of La Liga. We're 4 points clear. At this stage of the season, it's not all about being fancy. It's not all about scoring a lot of goals. It's just about getting yourself over the line, getting the results on the table, and getting the points in the bag, and making sure that every single game you stay consistent and you win those vital games. And this is one of them. This tonight, going to the Balaidos, very difficult stadium to go to. Celta Vigo at home are a very good side. They're compact, they press very well, they've got great energy in their team, and they've got some very good players as well. And that needs to be underlined that Celta are a very decent side. They beat us, of course, at the Camp Nou last year, in I think in November it was, and since then we come a long way. And tonight that we showed the resilience, and that's about it, because tonight was flat, it was lethargic, it was poor performance for most of the game. And to be quite honest with you, we are very lucky to be walking away from this game with 3 points. But having said that, it is a massive 3 points, and the boys, the guys out there, they should be proud of themselves, not for the way they played, but for their attitude. They didn't give up, they kept going, they pushed themselves, and it was a really big win, because throughout the game it was a lot of nearly moments. There was moments where offside flags were raised, Neymar had a goal disallowed that, to be honest, didn't really look offside. There was moments where key passes should have been made and weren't, but going from the back, talking about the performance in general, Claudio Bravo made two very key interventions. One of them was very early on in the game, made a very good save low down to his left-hand side, and then just in the middle of the first half, there was a moment where Dani Alves was lapsed in concentration, and he had to get there, and it was a really close tackle, and it was really well won by Claudio Bravo. So all that he had to do, once again, he was very good against Real Madrid, and once again, Claudio Bravo proving today that he does deserve to be in between the sticks, and he's doing a very good job. Dani Alves was okay. He made some good tackles going forward. He made some good runs, but again, it was very much a nearly performance. There was some things that very nearly came off. There was passes to Lionel Messi, which nearly came to fruition, but overall, it was a performance which, wasn't really here or there. He had a good chance himself. The ball broke to him on the edge of the area, and he couldn't quite convert it. It was a horrible attempt that went well wide of the target. Adriano, same goes for him really, didn't really get forward that much, he wasn't really allowed to. Oriana pushed him right back, he held the pressure on him for most of the game. Defensively, he was okay, not too bad. A few times Mathieu and Piqué had to cover for him, but filling in for Jordi Alba, considering he hasn't had much game time this year. Adriano, not a bad performance. So great to have Sergio Busquets back, and there's a reason I'm leaving out the two centre-backs. I'm going to come back to those, but yeah, Busquets played well, I thought, in that midfield area. First start for us for a while since that injury against Villarreal, and he controlled things. He wasn't afraid, even though Celta were pressing very high, he wasn't afraid to get the ball to turn, to bring the midfield into play. But in that first half, we really did lack the control. Now, throughout the season, it's been a criticism of our sides that we've not had enough control in the midfield during games, but today it was really a problem. Today, it really did make an impact on the game because Celta kept coming at us, and we were penned in our own half for most of the first half, and it was very difficult to play our football and create any chances. But like I say, all this is pretty much irrelevant. I'm not saying that we can go on all season with performances like this, but in a game like this, if you're going to play that badly, to come out with 3 points is such a big lift. I thought Iniesta tonight was poor. I thought he worked very hard, as did everyone, but his final ball wasn't there. He wasn't quite at the levels that, to be honest, he's not really been at those levels this season. We're still expecting big things from Iniesta. He's still a world-class player, but at the moment it's not quite clicking for him. I'm going to talk about Xavi in just a minute. Rafinha, the same goes for him. Didn't quite work out for him tonight, returning to Celta Vigo where he spent last season, but didn't quite work out for him. The front three were an interesting bunch. I think Neymar, again, not really showing his best form. He took up some decent positions, but never really caused Celta much of a threat, apart from his goal, which I say was wrongly ruled out. But again, he needs to start firing. He needs to get a goal or an assist or just something to spark him into life again. He needs that confidence boost, and I'm sure that he'll get it, but at the moment, it's not quite working out for him. Lionel Messi had flashes of magic, of course. There was a good chance that Sergio Alvarez, the Celta Vigo keeper, saved in the first half, pushing it away to his right-hand side. There was other moments of genius where he picked out a pass to Iniesta, I think it was. He played some really good balls. Adriano, I think, was another one. He did very well, Messi. He looked lively. He didn't look like he was carrying any sort of injury, although we still are being told that he really is in some pain with that foot. Suarez, pretty much the same for him as some of the other guys. He was okay, but didn't really do anything, made a few clever runs, had a few half chances, worked very hard, but didn't really create an awful lot for the team. He held the ball up at times and did quite well there, but again, not quite there. But I'm going to come back to the two players that won us this game. The two players that throughout this season, both have been criticised at some stages, both have been questioned, and both of them tonight won us this game together, as a partnership, as a pair, and it's so nice to see. And in our back four, we've got a centre-back pairing. Mathieu and Piqué today were absolutely outstanding. Mathieu was defensively pretty good. There was a few times where he got beaten, but a lot of the time, he's quite good in the air, he's dominant, he doesn't always look comfortable on the ball, but he did what he had to do. When he had to clear the ball, he did. He was solid. And of course, the moment for him, of course, was the header. It was brave. It was a phenomenal ball about Xavi. I'm going to talk about him and Pedro in just a minute, but a phenomenal ball in by Xavi. And a really good header, because that is actually, if Mathieu doesn't really leap at that, he's not getting there, and it's the bravery, the desire to go and get that ball. And he scored against Real Madrid, and he's followed up here with another massive goal. And those two goals, I said it on Twitter, those two goals are worth his transfer fee, because those two goals have given us vital points at a crucial stage of the season, and it was a really good performance again from Jeremy Mathieu. And now to Gerard Piqué. This man is the best centre-back in the world at the moment. Again today, he is dominant. He is absolutely dominant. Strikers must come up against him at the moment and think, we got a tough day on here, because Piqué is like a wall at the moment. He really is. He's powerful. He's, demanding. He wants everybody in line. He's controlling our back four. He's solid in the air, he's strong, his presence is really being felt now, and he is getting back to that level. And not only is he getting back to it, he's actually going beyond the level he was at. Before, he was a phenomenal defender, we know all about it, but right now he's really showing his experience, his leadership is coming through, and Gerard Piqué at the moment has been absolutely outstanding now for a number of months, and there's no doubt in my mind that he is the best centre-back in the world on form, and his performance today was absolutely sensational. There was a challenge on Charles, I think it was, who was through on goal. He only had Bravo to beat. He had all the time in the world that it looked like, and suddenly out of nowhere, Gerard Piqué comes in, a brilliant sliding challenge, saving tackle at 0-0. That is a defining moment, and Gerard Piqué made it happen. So a man of the match performance for him. And let's talk about substitutes. Xavi and Pedro were the substitutes that came on early enough in the game to make an impact. Rakitic came on later, but didn't really have enough time to do anything. Xavi came on first of all, and when he came on, the game changed. Suddenly, we had control, and that is no coincidence. It doesn't matter how old Xavi is, it doesn't matter how many games a week he can play, that man will always control the game when he's on the pitch. It doesn't matter about the pace of the game, it doesn't matter about anything else, because as long as he's there, he'll set the pace, he'll set the tempo, and he'll play his own game. And tonight he came on, and the dynamic of the game changed. He was brilliant on the ball, he was comfortable with it, he did everything as he wanted to do, he played those little incisive passes, and he got us a bit more focused. When he came on, the passing was more crisp, it was more decisive, and we certainly looked a lot more switched on when he came on. And of course, he made the assist. It was a phenomenal ball in the box to Mathieu, a brilliant delivery, and a brilliant header, and a vital goal. And Pedro, this is a very interesting one, because Pedro came on just after we'd scored. Now, if Pedro usually comes on, he comes on for Neymar, for Suarez. He came on for Iniesta, which is very, very interesting, because Pedro in that second half when he came on was deployed in a sort of midfield stroke. He was everywhere, and that is very, very interesting what Luis Enrique has done there. Of course, he wants to give Pedro more game time, but I just wonder whether Luis Enrique is trying to mould him, maybe not into the front three positions, but whether he can use his exploits in terms of a midfield player. We've heard about the rumours, of course, that maybe he wants to play right back, but it's going to be very, very interesting, because Pedro in that second half there, he ran around a lot, he got himself amongst things, he got the ball a bit more, he was a bit more dynamic when he was running, and I think when he's in the front three, he doesn't quite do enough to make a difference, but in that midfield area he'll see a lot more of the ball. His hard work can certainly be more noticed, because he's tracking players, he's defending as well, and it's just interesting to see how that develops, because Pedro came on today in a role that I've never seen him play for Barcelona before, and it's going to be very interesting to see if Luis Enrique does that again, because I thought when Pedro came on he was pretty effective. He helped us see out the game, he was very lively, he was very energetic, as we know he is, and it's just very interesting to see the sort of position that he was deployed in. So Leave your thoughts down below, guys. Like I say, in a month where we got so many congested fixtures, we got really, really tough games coming up, this was so important. We had to get the 3 points. Mathieu has delivered it with a header that is pinpoint, that's got accuracy, it's in the back of the net. We are now 4 points clear. Whether Real Madrid have won 9-1 or not, we've won 1-0, it's still 3 points, we're 4 points clear. We're on the way to winning the league, the momentum is flowing, we are still going, and Visca El Barça.